from the office of the Prime Minister. These are leaders who matter a lot when it comes to issues shaping the nation. And our topic tonight is Beyond Restocking, what will truly transform northern Uganda. 0709602592 is our WhatsApp number. Kindly be part of the show, but also using that hashtag UBC Frontbench. Honorable Minister, beyond restocking, what will truly transform northern Uganda?
Thank you very much. First, I want to thank Ugandans who are viewing us at this time for spending their time and interacting with us on this program. Allow me also to say thank you very much to Ugandans upon completion of the last general elections, and I also want to thank them very much for putting trust in us in the national resistance movement. And I want very much and especially thank the people of northern Uganda for this time listening to us and believing in our track record, and also believing in our promises as the national resistance movement. First of all, let me say very quickly that our ministry, the Affirmative Action Ministry for northern Uganda, is part of the affirmative action that was begun immediately after the 1986 liberation war. That was started as a rehabilitation ministry to ensure the recovery of northern Uganda. Then, of course, later on we had other affirmative action ministries coming out. We now have about 6 of them, of course. But let me focus on northern Uganda. As you may be aware, northern Uganda, the greater northern Uganda, and then the extended northern Uganda that were affected by the insurgencies and the wars that took place from 1986 up to around about 2007, which was so devastating in the entire greater northern Uganda and the surrounding areas of northern Uganda. Now, this wars, as you may know, caused a lot of devastation. There was a collapse in the socio-economic capacity of the people. There was big displacement of the people. People, they were traumatized by these wars because of the wars there. The neglect, not just neglect because there was no time to maintain, there was also collapse of the infrastructure in those areas. So because of this, we ended up with very, very high figures, we registered very, very high levels of multidimensional poverty in northern Uganda. Now, government then came up with this affirmative action special to those areas to ensure that the government supports the recovery of northern Uganda. And a number of interventions, strategic interventions, were introduced in northern Uganda with funding. And these were majorly focused on infrastructure, rehabilitation and development, and mindset change to ensure that people were able to resettle back into their communities after the war. So there was need to focus on infrastructure like schools, hospitals, security centers like police and so on and so forth, and including mobilization of the people to know that the war is over, forget the past, pick up the remains and move forward. A number of projects were funded in northern Uganda, and there are really very many. We had the programs like the PRDP, we had programs like the NUSAF 1, NUSAF 2, NUSAF 3, a number of many others like the Northern Uganda Development Initiatives, some of these initiatives. And then recently, of course, we also had the Development Initiative for Northern Uganda, the DINO, among many other interventions that I may not have time to mention here. Now, all these were meant to promote or support rehabilitation and recovery of northern Uganda. After all this time, of course, all these interventions have also generated measurable achievements, actually, in northern Uganda. And a lot has been invested in infrastructure, onto the human resources, onto the people, security, and so on and so forth. And I speak now, the northern Uganda is relatively stable. Actually, I can confidently say that northern Uganda is stable. And we are now beginning to say that despite all these interventions, the poverty levels in northern Uganda are still high above the national levels, above the national average. We still stand around at about 33%, above the national levels, which are about 16.1%. So we still want, as government, we want to concentrate, invest in more in northern Uganda to ensure that people recover, the region recovers fully, and contributes meaningfully to the socio-economic development of Uganda. So we are now moving away from the infrastructure development and mindset change only, now into looking at improving livelihoods of the people and wealth creation. And that's now where we are beginning to focus on, so that the people of northern Uganda also contribute meaningfully to the socio-economic transformation of Uganda. And I can confidently say that in the few years to come, we will archive those figures for references, but will be very, very different. And northern Uganda will be one of those sought after regions, especially for those who want to invest the monies, those who want to tour and enjoy, and those who want to study on how a people can pick up the remains from such devastating wars and insurgencies into what they will be in the very, very near future.
Honorable, how best can we measure success in terms of inputs delivered and lives transformed? You've talked about bits of what government has put up so far.
We have invested, just like I've said, we have invested money, a lot of money, I'm sure above $1 trillion shillings in all those areas. And just like I've said, we have invested to ensure that there's a security, peace and security in northern Uganda, so that there's stability. We have invested in infrastructure in northern Uganda. We now have very many roads, feeder roads that aid agriculture, and that also aid quick response in terms of any cases of insecurity. For instance, the few skirmishes, isolated cases that we have in cattle raids and theft in those areas, our responses are now much quicker because we have the roads. We also connected the other remaining parts of northern Uganda now to the national grid. For a very, very long time, I think for the first time, we connected West Nile to the national grid not long ago, sometime last year or the other year. So the whole of northern Uganda is now connected to the national grid. And we have, if you look at what we have done there, we have put up so many institutions. There are so many schools, so many institutions that are coming up in northern Uganda. I hope you have heard about also the cancer center in northern Uganda, which is going to be in Gulu. We may have another one in the West Nile. We have a number of schools, number of health facilities that are in northern Uganda. We have also put up recently an inland port for northern Uganda in Gulu. And you may also be aware that we are rehabilitating the meter gauge railway that has now gone coming from the border with Kenya. We have already gone beyond Teso. We are now in Lango, proceeding towards Acholi and up to West Nile. These are very, very huge infrastructure developments. And we have also, if you check, we have tarmacked many of our roads linking to our borders. Uganda to Nimule is now tarmacked, very, very big investment and trade route that now links us to a very big market in South Sudan, a market of about between $600 to $700 million, to $800 million per year export, which is very, very good. We are now rehabilitating the Arua Road. We also hope to rehabilitate the airport in Gulu to an international standard. The Arua airport is very busy. If you go there, there are so many flights going to DRC, Central African Republic, South Sudan. So there is trade and business, and we have a number of other infrastructure development in the north that are focused on promoting production by the masses to boost economic transformation in that area.
Thank you, PS. Thank you, Honorable. PS, Honorable has clearly stated what government has done. We must appreciate since 1986 the insurgencies that we had to where we are. We can agree that there is a transformation. Let's talk about economy and development, the significant challenges that they are in. One, the level of poverty. Of course, it has deteriorated a little, but there are those that are really gaining, the unequal development, but also the recent land disputes that are related to migration. How are you ensuring to ensure that the people of northern Uganda really can get this off, but also move forward in line with what the Honorable has talked about?
Thank you, Jethro. Probably before I go to that question,
Please.
I wanted to supplement what he has said.
Please.
Especially about the standard of living of people in northern Uganda. You know, after the war, you remember, children were malnourished. You remember the quality of infrastructure that we had, hospitals, the number of children who are going to school, the numbers were so low, but also of course, the quality of education, which was reflected in the way they performed in the final exams at each level. All these have greatly improved. There is an improvement in the quality of education now received, right from primary up to university, which necessitated even establishment at least of 3 universities, that government universities, one in West Nile, another one in Gulu, we have one in Lira, then we have one in Sorote. So that is an improvement in the quality, quality of life in those areas. But also when you look at what the other areas of the country are benefiting from that area, you have seen they are attracting investments, right from big investments, involving a lot of money, but also people who go now from other areas who have been looking for opportunities in that area. So now going to your question, you are saying, how are we helping them? How are we protecting what they are gaining? How are we helping them to benefit? Jethro, you recall that recently the president guided, because there were so many people who are going to northern Uganda to do farming, including cattle keeping. I said, yes, it is good for us to go, but at the same time for everybody, because this country belongs to everyone, but at the same time make sure that the local population is protected. If you go there, make sure you go into an arrangement with the owners of this land. 2, if you are going to keep animals there, make sure that you enclose so that it doesn't, affect the people you find there. And also work together with them. I think that has helped, because you see, sometimes investment or trade sometimes comes with cost. So we have encouraged every Ugandan to take the available opportunities in northern Uganda, but at the same time ensure that the people in northern Uganda do not lose out. So we have now these people doing agriculture, but at the same time allowing, benefiting from those who are coming from other areas to that place. The other one is attracting investment. The investments that have gone to northern Uganda are providing employment to northern Uganda, people of northern Uganda. They are providing markets. You may realize that before, projects that went to northern Uganda provided infrastructure. For example, processing capacity that was not utilized at that time. So we are now engaging the local population to get involved in commercial agriculture. Commercial agriculture that is going to feed into, for example, the infrastructure that has been constructed, like markets, like meat processing plants, like fish processing plants, but even the transport infrastructure. We have done a lot of roads. How will these roads benefit the local population if they have nothing to transport on these roads? So we're encouraging people in northern Uganda now through NUSAF 4, which is soon to be launched, to engage in commercial agriculture. We previously, northern Uganda was not wasn't participating a lot, for example, in growing perennial crops, coffee, banana, cocoa, etc., and even fruits. So we're now saying, you know, with peace, you can engage in commercial agriculture, you can engage in perennial agriculture, growing of perennial crops, and then these crops feed into the manufacturing sector. You add value, you create employment, and then you also increase the incomes of the people. Thank you so much.
Principal, allow me to call you principal, economist, but for the show, principal, do you think all these programs are creating dependency or they are building resilience?
Thank you very much, Jethro. Dependency or resilience? I think the programs are not creating dependency. Why? For a very long time, we need to understand where we are coming from with northern Uganda. As my honorable minister and my permanent secretary earlier alluded to, it has been a transformation journey for northern Uganda. At first, we were managing the internally displaced people's camps, and the focus at that time was more on emergency response. We moved forward into the infrastructure segment, and we managed to construct a lot of roads, health centers, education facilities, staffing for the teachers, staffing for the nurses at these facilities, so that there will be functionality as these people return to their homes after the conflict had ended. This is around 2006 and 2007. But after constructing the infrastructure, still the poverty was high. Okay? So the focus now went into private sector-led growth, where we're focusing on livelihood, focusing on wealth creation, and focusing on that kind of transformation of the household from being dependent on government and the World Food Program for food aid, to growing their own crops, to having a surplus for the market, to move from subsistence to the market. So we've moved from the dependency at that point, and we are now able to be resilient. We are investing more funds into activities at the household level that will allow them to participate in agriculture, especially the perennial crops, to allow them to have some money in their pockets once they sell. So I think the dependency is not the issue at this point.
All right, those who are sending in your questions and feedback on any Sunday from Gulu, thank you so much for watching. This is Richard from Matuga. I think a whole of society approach beyond restocking will spur sustainable development in northern Uganda. All sectors of the society require a push, that is to say education, health, roads, sports, security, livelihoods, agro-industrialization, etc. Yep. That is Richard there. Okay, I want to sample some of these before we go for that break. Good evening. My name is Angelo Omara from Magago District. What really will change Northern Uganda is improving education system, scholarship to children at school, improving food security, improving infrastructure like road to Northern Uganda is believed to be the worst of all. Government should put some investment in Northern Uganda in order to provide employment opportunities, improving agri-businesses. This is Angelo Omara from Magago. Okay. This is Dani Musime, Ainembabazi from Bushenyi District. I would like to thank Dr. Kenneth Omona for working with NRM government. I request you kindly, national issues, your message is not clear. Good evening, thank you for the show. This is Priscilla Lebu from Ajumani. The question is, in terms of risks taken, what interventions have the government taken in regard to health insurance for the health workers in risk-taking? Okay, this is Solomon from Jinja. Good evening, and honorable panelists, just to get assured by Honorable Minister how effective the process will be, because in most cases, most of support are diverted and put into individual pockets. Lastly, you've mentioned so many programs like NUSAF. I don't see the effects of all the NUSAF. Most of the money was taken back to Kampala in terms of workshops. Really, the minister will clarify. Lastly, Honorable Minister, it seems like we are now giving the accountability. That says I acknowledge 5 million for the purchase of 5 cows. According to forms, was it a mistake or deliberate mistakes? It looks like money is already used, yet the forms are just being filled. Roads, Moroto Road from Gulu to Moroto remain the talking. Gulu to Lamo also remain in plan. Honorable Minister, can you clarify on the money and the form? Honorable Minister, allow me to go for a short commercial break. When we return, PS and Honorable, you will answer some of these questions after the short break.
This is the front bench.
Some people think when a woman starts leading in business, the home will suffer. But many families are discovering the opposite.
Before, I worked hard in our business, but I feared making big decisions. I was worried people would say I was disrespecting my husband. Then I joined the Grow Project, where I received training, business support, and coaching that helped me plan better, manage money wisely, and make decisions with confidence. Today, I lead with confidence in my business. I contribute more at home, support our family needs, and help reduce the burden on my husband. I'm not competing with my husband, I'm standing with him.
And our marriage has not weakened, it has grown stronger. We understand each other better, we plan better, and our family is better off because her voice counts.
When a woman is supported to lead, the family can move forward.
The Grow Project is empowering women with skills, confidence, and support to make informed decisions that strengthen their families and grow their businesses. Respect her voice, support her choices. For more information, contact your district or City Grow Project focal person or call 0800 307 777. The Grow Project is a government initiative implemented by the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development and Private Sector Foundation Uganda, with support from the World Bank.
Every Wednesday, live in our studios in the heart of Kampala.
We have to change the political culture in this country, really. Who has bewitched Ugandans?
I want to assure you, as government, we shall do whatever it takes to ensure that Ugandans are safe.
We have conversations that have analysis, explanation.
This law society, this union of theirs, because they want a job everywhere, they want to be this, they want to be that, they want... No. We know it's a union.
You cannot be making a road, bitumen grade 1, in Congo for 5 billion.
But not every truth is fact, and not every fact is truth.
The argument that the General Court Martial is responsible for peace and stability is without basis, either in law or in fact.
We have been told how Napoleon was a great orator. Now, Napoleon cannot help me get food. They told me combine harvesters in Saskatchewan. I don't know where Saskatchewan is. This is a geographer we taught. Instead of teaching me how to preserve Mabera forest, they're teaching me about Rhineland. This is a problem we got. We cannot run away from it.
Right now, you hear very disgusting stories of members of parliament, instead of discussing the details of loans, they ask for their cuts.
Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
All on your public broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda. This is the front bench.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for keeping it UBC off camera. We were going through some of your questions, and indeed they're interesting, and my guests are very ready to answer your questions. Principal, before the camera gets off you, kindly clarify on the NUSAF. You do understand that might be falling under your office? Yes.
Thank you, Jethro. The NUSAF 1, 2, and 3 had significant achievements, especially in infrastructure. We did a lot of roads, a lot of classroom blocks, staff accommodation, water facilities, and health centers, okay, across northern Uganda. We have a clear results matrix, and we have all this information available on our website at OPM. But the NUSAF 4 is going to have a focus on household wealth creation. We are going to provide investment capital to households, organized groups. We're going to do vocational skills training, and we are going to create jobs in the new program. So the NUSAF 4 will also be building on to the earlier cycles of NUSAF, and that is financed by the World Bank.
Okay. PS, about the forms, someone said the money is released. It seems people are just filling forms, yet money was released a long time ago.
Thank you so much. The forms they are talking about are forms that are going to be used to select beneficiaries of the Restocking program. We have said the Restocking program is going to cover Acholi, Lango, Teso, mainly sub-regions. Now, we sent out forms that are going to help the parishes, the parish development committees to select beneficiaries. Unfortunately, on that form, and we want to apologize, because on that form, there's a part called declaration. That part is supposed to be signed only when someone is receiving money. But I understand some people have, have made people sign before they even receive money. Recently, we got that complaint, we had it, and we have issued a statement saying no one should sign that declaration unless he's receiving money. We are still in the process of selecting the beneficiaries. We are just starting, and the process is such that the parish development committees will sit and select the households that shall benefit from the restocking exercise. After they have done so, then depending on the amount of money that we have, because this entire exercise requires over 700 billion, so it will be in stages. So after they have selected the households that will benefit at the parish level, then depending on the amount of money that will be allocated per parish during that particular period of time, like currently we have only 80 billion that we are going to use for this financial. Then they are also going to pick who will benefit from their data set, and then send that information to the Chief Administrative Officer, who will also working with the internal security and the GISO from the parish. They will pick out the beneficiaries for that particular period and then send them to the Ministry of ICT and local government, who will then submit the list to the Office of the Prime Minister to pay. So it was out of order for people to be requested to sign the declaration part before they receive money. They should have stopped only at filling the other requirements that qualify a household to benefit. So it is a mistake.
Okay, that
Thank
is
you so
taken.
much. And we want to thank, I think that was Mr. Omara from Agago who raised it. Thank you for raising it because it has helped us to clarify.
About the education piece, you must talk about it. Someone talked about education, health, to ensure that these can really play a role to transform.
I think government has done so much, both in education and health, especially recently under a project called UGIFT. Under UGIFT, funded by the World Bank, UGIFT stands for Intergovernmental Fiscal Transfer Project. Government dedicated quite a lot of resources to construct a seed secondary school in a sub-county without, and so the medical, health facilities across the entire country. And then under again education, under a project called USIP, Uganda Secondary Education Project. A number of schools are also being constructed now. So they have done a lot, and this is all around the country. And for northern Uganda, they have even benefited more because, again, under USIP, there is a particular grant that is helping to construct schools in refugee hosting districts. And therefore, they have taken advantage again of that to get more schools in northern Uganda. And so where projects like Dr. Deep, they also did quite a lot, both in health and education. What we have been grappling now with, especially under also the Prime Minister, now is our teachers, especially in refugee hosting districts, when we got challenges with funding from UNHCR. They were paying teachers and medical workers in refugee hosting districts in those schools. But generally, I think government has done so much. So they have increased access through construction, building of new classrooms, and also, health facilities. So they are moving now to increasing the recruitment. As you have heard, this year, next year, financial year, they are increasing salaries for teachers, including those of non-science teachers, the arts. So we think government has done a lot in education and health. All over the country, but specifically in northern Uganda. And I think, as I stated earlier, the improvement, there is improvement in the way learners are transitioning from one stage to another. Thank you very much.
Honorable, how are you ensuring that all these interventions move from relief to real economic transformation? You will answer that, but also try to answer some of those questions that you feel you can answer.
Thank you very much, and I also want to continue thanking those who have sacrificed their time to interact with us and listen to us this program. First of all, I appreciate them, and I'm very happy that they all seem to be alive to the fact that a multi-pronged approach is important for transformation. And if you listen to their question, they're only raising caution in terms of accountability, avoidance of duplication and losses as government invests in these programs. I think Angela has raised it. It talks about scholarship, infrastructure, and then agribusiness as important for improving the economic situation in northern Uganda. and also Aine from Aine Mbabazi from Bushenyi also talked about health. I talked about health insurance. Oh, well, health insurance, I think maybe next time the Minister of Health comes here, should discuss about the debate about health insurance that have been in the discussion for a very, very long time. But of course, I can only confirm that health is a very important factor, a very important resource for transformation, because there's no debate about this. But like my technical people have said, we have also invested a lot in the infrastructure and education, meaning infrastructure and human resources for health. And the entire northern Uganda, at least now, we have those infrastructure that are necessary for improvement in terms of health. But let me get to your question. It's a relief.
To real economic transformation.
To real economic transformation. We as northern Uganda, just like I've said, we are focusing our attention, our investment, and first of all by redefining the roles of the affirmative action ministries. Now, us as northern Uganda, and just like any other affirmative action ministries now, we are now refocusing our main work now, our main tasks, our main duties now are changing, moving away from really being directly involved in the implementation. We are now, like I've said, as me, more of now of the Nyampara, the supervisor, the overseer of what, on behalf of government, or what happens in northern Uganda. Look at all these projects. So me as a Nyampara, there are three key roles that we now play. One, in affirmative action. One is think tanking, doing think tanking for government, see what can be done in those areas to improve improve the recovery of those areas. And two is monitoring of all projects, both government and development partners, that take place in those areas to ensure that there's value for money, there's no duplication, and there's need to have them. And then thirdly, we also do advocacy for the region from within government and without government, that is among other stakeholders and development partners. So this is now what we're focusing on. And because of this, I can confidently say that we are not going to be depending on relief, as you said. What we are now focusing on, first of all, is to support, as affirmative action, support the transformation, the recovery of this region. But we are now beginning to focus on, we are focusing on those areas that will help the region recover through identifying the potential of the region.
We are now talking about now your next big strategies, right? As government.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. We look at, we are now look at the potential of the region, look at land. Northern Uganda has vast land, vast arable land, good for investments. I mean, if you look at Achiola alone, has about 28,000 square kilometers of land, with a small population of only around about 2 million. And so we are looking at the available resources, the potential of the place, of the region, in terms of land, the human resources, the people there, the tourism potentials in the area, in that place, the comparative and strategic advantages of the area compared to other places. I mean, look at the location of North. We are located very close to two huge markets. The South Sudan market, the DRC market within the East African Common Market Arrangement. Those are very huge markets. If you look at our import-export bills to those countries, I think to each of them we export between $600 to $800 million per year. And so we are very optimistic that we are not going to be relying on handouts aside. We are just providing those opportunities, those platforms that will help to trigger transformation or production in those areas. That's why the project that other programs that we're bringing, like we have talked about NOSAF here, we are going to be focusing on supporting livelihood development program in those areas. We have given some grants to stimulate production in households. We also going to support those communities, especially those vulnerable the vulnerable and poor households, against those shocks, so that they're able to stand on their own. And we're already doing it, so that when finally many of these are withdrawn, many of these projects are withdrawn, the people there have recovered and they can stand on their own. We have invested a lot on infrastructure, like I've told you. Now these are enablers of investment and economic transformation. So I really don't think that with all these investments and the strategies that were put in place, Northern Uganda should again fall back into that very, very bad situation. If we had time, we will tell you in all these sectors what government has done and the measurable achievements that gives us hope that indeed we cannot fall back there, and we don't need relief. In fact, we don't need relief now. What we need now, programs that support improving livelihood and wealth creation, just like in other parts of the country. And I hope this is what we want to do and run away from relief. Okay.
PS, is restocking even the right investment priority compared to sectors like agro-processing, education, or infrastructure?
Thank you very much once again, Jethro. You see, restocking is like a catalyst. Because when you talk about agro-processing, when you talk about infrastructure, and maybe roads, maybe industries, what are they going to process? Most of our industries are supposed to be agro-based. So restocking, first of all, is going to provide manpower, because we are providing that money. We expect that they will buy 2 bulls. So bulls will help to pull the ox plows. So they will be improved agriculture. They will provide, labor for improved agricultural production. Now that agricultural production will help to feed into the processing plants. Will help to utilize the infrastructure like roads, which government has constructed in these places. They will help, to provide income. You see, because they will also act as bulls to the 3 female animals we are providing for reproduction. And therefore, when they sell milk, when they produce, they sell milk. They can sell animals as beef, and then get income. But also, you see, these animals also provide manure to increase productivity, and they are also a source of nutrition. They add nutritional value to the diets of the people that we are serving when they will provide milk, and when they do so, they actually help both the children and our adults improve their nutritional intakes, and hence there's reduction or improvement in health and therefore productivity of these people. So that alone actually feeds into these animals have a multiplier effect in the region, and therefore for us we think it's a good investment for the region. Thank you.
Principal, this restocking program you're talking about has been implemented before. by the Office of the Prime Minister. How different is this new restocking program?
Thank you again, Jethro. From the year 2013 to around 2019, Office of the Prime Minister ran the first phase of the restocking program. In this program, we got service providers who procured and distributed the cows for the beneficiary households. During that time, we managed to buy about 69,000 cows, and we spent about 67 billion shillings. The difference is that at that time, we took live animals. The service providers took cows to the beneficiaries across the sub-regions of Acholi, Lango, West Nile, and Teso. Okay. Now, in the new one, following the guidance of His Excellency the President and the guidance of Cabinet 2 times, it was decided that we now give the beneficiary households 5 million shillings each to procure the cows by themselves. So the difference is, in the other one, we sent live animals. In this one, we shall send 5 million shillings to the agreed beneficiaries to buy the animals themselves, and we shall do the monitoring and supervision to ensure that these cows are bought and that the intention of the program is realized.
Well, we have about 7 minutes to be out of here, to be honest, but I know there are very many other issues. But let me sample some of these questions, and then we shall use about a minute or two to summarize some of these things. Very many people are watching. Thanks to the panelists. My concern goes to Honorable Minister. Human-animal conflicts in districts near National Park, the mechanism being designed haven't been realized. The implement process have not been achieved as expected. Okay, this is Dennis from Terego. Thank you very much. Government of Uganda for tremendous job done in Northern Uganda. For me personally, for Northern Uganda to develop and to become competitive, education is key, and industries have to be taken nearer to the people. My question is, are the people of Ombachi, Masaka in Arua City included in this project, and when is Obongi going to be connected to West Nile grid such that it will never be left behind? Okay, this is Edmond from Lira. The challenges we, the Northerners, face is fluctuation in agricultural products like maize, soya beans, etc., as well as animal products. Can the government set a standard market price? Okay, this is Philip Okot from Magago. All districts stroke sub-counties bordering Karamoja is experiencing constant killing and cattle raids from Karamojong raiders. Animal and kept packed in animals camps in sub-county headquarters where they are dying. Okay, lastly, kindly don't forget to work with religious and cultural leaders to transform Northern Uganda. This will be a very good element for sustainability of any transformation. Honorable Minister, PS, and the Principal, our time is running out. Principal, use 1 minute to summarize. If there is anything under your docket, kindly 1 minute, and then the big people will close, please.
Thank you, Jethro. I'll attempt one, especially on the fluctuation of prices, and can government set a standard price? No, government cannot set a standard price for those commodities. Usually this is a market economy where factors of demand and supply will fix the price, will sort out the price. The price is determined by the market, so I don't think government will come in to do that. The idea here is that we still have a lot of potential, especially for export. So even after domestic consumption and markets internally, we still have an option to export to neighboring countries who still need this produce. So there's still a lot of value for this. There's no need for government to come in.
Okay.
Thank you.
PS, as we are winding up, please.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. I just want to add to what the principal said. You see, what causes price fluctuations? It's normally caused by fluctuation in supply and demand. When they overproduce, then the prices sometimes dip. And then sometimes when the supplies go down, the prices go up. How do we level these prices? We do level them by attracting linking production to manufacturing. And I think, as we have already stated, both under NUSAF, NUSAF 4, we are going to, first of all, we are going to encourage connection of production, agro processing, so that our prices don't dip when at the peak of the harvesting seasons, and then go up when the seasons are over. So we are going to encourage agro processing, and then also attracting investors who can add value to these products that are grown in northern Uganda. So I thought that would help us to level the prices. But I wanted to, lastly, to assure the people where we are going to implement both the restocking program, but also NUSAF 4, that we are going to work very, very closely with our political leadership in these areas, so that we work together, we bridge the gap and make sure that what we do benefits the local population, that we involve, we encourage the participation of the beneficiaries of these programs and also their leadership, so that all of us speaking from at the same level. And on restocking, I think Horace had talked about how we are going to make sure that this program is different from the programs that have taken place before. Why is it going to be different? It's going to be different because it's the population, the local population, that is going to pick the beneficiaries based on the amount of money we have, but also on the prioritization. We have put, a scale which we shall be following. Who takes, for example, the first priority? We're talking about the elderly. We're talking about former abductees, families headed by females, in that order, and then people with disabilities. So it will be the local leadership that is going to pick these people. Two, as I close, is that these people, the money, as much as possible, will be sent directly to the beneficiaries using the e-platforms that we are going to use. Thank you so much.
Thank you, PS. Honorable Minister, kindly, in a few minutes, please.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much, UBC, for giving us this platform. And I also want to thank those who have been watching us and interacting with us. First of all, again, my appreciation, and I want to thank them very much for their contribution. Actually, they contributed, they added value to our discussion here. Very quickly, let me respond to one, then I just give my summary and we'll wind up. One striking thing which I have had is about the animal-human conflict in the communities surrounding game parks. This is a matter that we as government are addressing. First of all, we are now investing in electric fencing of all the game parks in Uganda, and we have progressed. We have got more money now, and we are doing fencing in Kidepo and the Maxon Falls National Park, and the fencing is going on. And our apologies again to those who have suffered from these conflicts. Let me wind up like this by saying that as far as Northern Uganda is concerned, in addition to the routine investments that government has put in place through the parish development model, which is not just about the money, it is a model of transformation intervention that we are using. Government is going to emphasize a number of other specific components of this model to ensure that it is really affirmative action indeed. In northern Uganda, unlike in other places, we think we need to add more, little more. That's why we are doing so in terms of affirmative action. Northern Uganda will want to, in addition to what we are doing now, we want to see how we can invest as government in agro-industrialization, increasing value addition in northern Uganda. We also want to invest more in mechanization of agriculture in northern Uganda to make the lands there, to mechanize and make the lands there productive. We are going to invest more in infrastructure. We're rehabilitating the railway. We are going to continue doing more. Actually, we have plans to have railway going into the DRC and South Sudan. And we also restocking, like we have said, we are introducing more funds through the NUSA project. We are rehabilitating actually the livestock farming industry in entire northern Uganda and part of eastern Uganda. What I don't want to leave without telling you is that we are introducing and also funding the promotion of other high-value crops in northern Uganda, coffee and cocoa. Government this financial year put about 65 billion shillings in for coffee, development of value chain, seedlings, training, and the other value chains in entire northern region. So there are a number of things that we are, as government think we are going to introduce, and we hope that this, borrowing from the expression of Mr. Moyan, the former president of the Indian community in Uganda, we want to make northern Uganda peaceful, pleasant, and profitable to everybody, including the natives there.
Thank you so much, Honorable Dr. Kenneth Mona, Minister of State for Northern Uganda. Thank you so much, Permanent Secretary Mr. Alex Kakoza from the Office of the Prime Minister. Thank you so much, Principal Economist Mr. Horace Bashaija. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being part of the show. Those who have contributed, those who are still sending in questions, thank you so much. I am Jethro Kasaiji. Till next Monday. Good night.
Ministries and answering the question.
Oh, Uganda, may God uphold thee. We lay our future in thy hand. United, free for liberty, together we'll always stand. Oh, Uganda, the land of freedom, our love and labor we give, and with neighbors all out our country's call, in peace and friendship we'll live. Oh, Uganda, the land that feeds us, thy sun and fox our soul grow. For our own dear land, we'll always stand. The pile of Africa's ground.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Eating fish daily provides a